Good morning, everyone. So, we are from Group 8. We want to deliver our presentation, our discussion about discourse analysis and race. Our group consists of Arlita Carolina N, Rahmitha N.A, Sekar Ayu P, and Rizkiana Akbar.
Okay, what is discourse analysis? Discourse analysis is a research method for studying written or spoken language in relation to its social context. It aims to understand how language is used in real life situations. So, what about race? Race is one of the main groups to which people are often considered to belong based on physical characteristics that they are perceived to share, such as skin color, age shape, and etc.
Relationship between discourse analysis and race. The study of race and discourse show how various grammatical structures may express or signal the perspective of a race. Discourse analysis plays a primary role in accounting for the structures of everyday interaction, for instance, in conversations based on some backgrounds such as race. Discursive construction of race. Early critical studies have exposed the historical emergence of the ideology of racism by analyzing how the white European colonialist discourse of race was formed both in conjunction with and in support of the slave trade and slavery institution. Fryer, 1984, in his book on Black history, documented and critiqued the discourses of key features in the colonialist era in the development of the ideology of racism. Cultural theorist Stuart Hall, problematizing the discursive construction of the West and the rest. Hall pointed out that the West is not a fact of geography, but a historical construct discursively produced and reproduced in colonialist discourses, and it functioned to classify societies and people into different essentialist categories. It produces knowledge about the superior or white West and the inferior or non-white race. Similarly, race is also a concept constructed in these colonialist discourses. Whiteness studies and its critics. Whiteness studies were initiated as scholars began to focus on whiteness as discursively and socially constructed and to problematize its link to power and privilege. However, in recent years, whiteness studies has been critiqued, chiefly for its difficulty in moving against or away from the master narrative rooted in white supremacy.
Okay, so for the next is about early discourse and racism. So, the Van Dyke has conducted research to critically analyze the racist discourse of the white ruling elite in European, British, Australian, New Zealand, North American, Latin American, and South African societies using linguistic and social psychological approach. Van Dyke, in his research, analyzed the discourse of the main domains such as political discourse, corporate discourse, academic discourse, educational discourse, and media discourse. So, in this research, he using the methodology that Van Dyke derived on different linguistic and research traditions that include theories of style, rhetoric, narrative, argumentation, and conversation, pragmatic, ethnography, and the cognitive and social psychology of the text and talk. And as a result, Van Dyke found that elites play an important role in the authorization and legitimacy of daily racism policies and practice aimed at protecting their elite status and right in society. In the final conclusion, all data obtained is coded in several propositions which formulate in a simple clauses. Like the Home Secretary said that the riot were criminally inspired.
So the next is everyday discourse and racism. What is racism? Racism is the conscious or unconscious belief that a particular race is superior to another. Unfortunately, we still can't find any racism in any aspect until now, like in family, school, workplace, and etc. According to Fundig, 2004, racist discourse is a form of discriminatory social practice that manifests itself in text, talk, and communication, together with other non-verbal discriminatory practices. It does typically by expressing, confirming, and legitimating racist opinions, attitudes, and ideologies of the dominant ethnic group. There is two forms of racist discourse. First, racist discourse directed at ethnically different others. Two, racist discourse about ethnically different others. One of part in everyday discourse and the new racism is draw on culture and religion to construct a separate race. Discourse and race draw on culture to universalize a superior culture self and an inferior cultural other. With the global spread of the internet, everyday racist discourses in media environment have become a rising concern. Another important tradition of research in this era is analysis of production of racial formations and racist ideologies in everyday discourse, in particular ordinary conversations and interactions. First pillar of a racial ideology is that racial inequality is natural. Because racial inequality is depicted as natural, many racist calls for equality, for example, the backlash against the Black Lives Matter movement because all lives is matter. The people are claiming more rights in their naturally entitled to.
Okay, the next one is Lin and Tong. Lin and Tong, 2009, draw on positioning theory of Davis and Hare, 1990, Hare and Langenhoff, 1999, to see how different participants use discourse to construct cultural self and other. The other purpose of this theory is another legitimation of discourse that has prevented them from having to confront with the ethnocentrism and racism of their discourse. And the last one is the way to prevent confronting with ethnocentrism and racism of their discourse, adopted one of the useful strategies of communication. They use the metaphor of father-like principles. So, father is someone that we should respect and principles is something that we should obey. So, the metaphor of father-like principles here mean father and principles has the same position and the same responsibilities.